Hi everybody, I'm Jon Sandler, and this is our third and final segment of our visit with new Runnin Rebel head coach Marvin Menzies. And Coach, as we stand outside this beautiful practice facility, the Mendenhall Center, looking at the Thomas and Mack
Right.
on a great spring day here in Vegas, the idea of vision comes up, and every coach has different ideas for what they want to do at the beginning of their tenure
Right.
running a program. What is your vision? What is your vision for this program? How it fits in this community, not just for the upcoming year, but for the
Right.
long run?
Well, it's interesting because a lot of my focus right now has been putting a quality product on the floor this year. I do think that when you layer your classes, and when you start by layer, I mean, you got to have so many seniors, so many freshmen, sophomores, so forth, the red shirts. You have to think about the future. Obviously, if you just try to put the best product on the floor and only that for this coming season, you might lose some of that translation of some of those younger guys that are really, really upper echelon players, especially here in Vegas. And on the West Coast, in particular. But how do you get those guys? How do they fit into the mix? So from a basketball perspective, it's got a bit of a puzzle, and you need to figure out how to fit those pieces in. But from a holistic, view of the vision, I think that I'm a little bit of a dreamer.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, I would hope not, because that's who they hired.
Absolutely.
So I dream of us getting back to national prominence, multiple NCAA tournaments with a lot of success when we get there. It's going to be a process, but you have to have a plan in place to do that. So we've started that already. I want the best. I'm a competitor, and I want to try to win a national championship again one day. I'd like to also, get the city and the community and the fan base. I want to breathe new life to what's kind of maybe had a little of a long exhale, and it's time to put some good oxygen in there, some good energy, some feel good, and that's done in a lot of different ways. Some of those we've already talked about, but I think those, at the core of it all, you got to get great players and people in your program, and so that's going to help us to reach our vision as a staff.
Well, you mentioned your staff, and that's something we haven't touched on to this point in these visits. We've talked about players, we've talked about you and your role, but you certainly don't and can't do it alone. And I know that you've spent some time trying to put together a staff that will do the things you need to be done for this program.
Right.
Let's talk about that a little bit. Talk about your staff, talk about who you brought on board and what each of them might bring to Runnin Rebel basketball.
Well, if we've got another hour, I can go into detail on each guy, but I'll give you I'll give you the Reader's Digest version. I just dated myself, by the way, with the Reader's Digest version, but that's okay. My first hire, Andre LaFleur, was a long time friend of mine. Watched him grow up, literally. Went to school with his sisters at Hamilton High and junior high as well. And so I've watched his whole journey and been able to be kind of a friend and a bit of a mentor along the way. He's playing for a legendary coach in Jim Calhoun and winning national championships there, multiple Final Fours, and then turning the Providence program and back headed back in the right direction with Ed Cooley there is just a fantastic addition to the staff. And you can go down the line from there. And I think I'll just touch on the three coaches because I got a lot of guys that work with us and support us and part of the family. But the second two guys that come on the ship with us are Rob Jeter, who has got a legendary resume himself, and has done a fantastic job, and especially under the tutelage of Bo Ryan. I had some pretty extensive conversations with not just Bo, but I vetted the process. I spoke to guys that played in his conference, that he competed against, he recruited against, and I think sometimes the people on your resume, hey, they better say the right things, right? Well, it's the people that just know you from the outside looking in, from a perception standpoint and competitive standpoint, that you can get some of the best information when you're going through it. I couldn't find one negative thing when I looked into Rob Jeter. It was really, like, I'm getting goosebumps. Like, it was really amazing. You can always find something.
Right. Everybody has a past.
The guy is you know, he's already a brother, and so I'm really looking looking forward to working with him on the same staff, because it'll be the first time we've done that. Unlike the last of the 3 full-time coaches, Eric Brown, who we've been on the same staff together at USC when he recruited, you know, Robert Swift and Nick Young with the Lakers, and Gabe Pruitt, who played for Boston. I mean, those were all, you know, EB's guys. And Eric is a grinder. I call him the ultimate grinder. He's the West Coast grinder, and he's a guy that everybody loves. He's a guy that is very, very knowledgeable from a basketball standpoint, and is also very good at recruiting, obviously. So all 3 of those guys just have a great amount of experience. Very loyal guys, very knowledgeable guys, but also very passionate about the opportunity to be here. And I think that's a key component. You want people that really want to be here. We had a couple other guys that we looked at, and you know, it just wasn't the right fit at the right time. But God is good, and He's brought me three great soldiers to go to war with.
Coach, expectations are a big deal in any program.
Mm-hmm.
In Las Vegas, they certainly play a major role in not only your success individually, but the program's success overall.
Right.
What should fans expect from you? And frankly, what should you expect from the fans?
Goes both ways, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of things that would put us in a situation where we could stop and say, okay, you know what? It's going to take a while. We're gonna have to really just kind of put ourselves in a situation where we got to go backwards before we go backward. I mean, go forwards to a certain degree.
Right.
That's not the case. Their fans' expectations need to be high. They need to remain high, because I think that fuels the passion. I think we're going to be very competitive in the first year, the second year, the third year, and so forth. And I think we're going to develop, we're going to grow, and we're going to grow within a season. We're not only just going to be good at the beginning of the season, we're going to get better as the season goes along.
Sure.
I think there's a frustration from the fans when I talk to different folks about just the teams playing better basketball later in the years. If you look back at our programs that I've been affiliated with, I think we're always playing our best basketball at the end of the year. And there's a system in place to make that happen, and we're going to just bring that here, just at a higher level with better facilities and more resources. So Now it's apples to apples. Now we can hopefully get some things done at a higher level. I think my expectations for the fans are to continue to support the team that they love, the team that they grew up with, or the team that they moved in town, and even if they're transplants, that they support and they see you know, on TV and all the signs and the marketing they do a great job of in town, you know, and embracing where you live and owning the not just the past, but the direction of what I have for the future. I think folks got to give us a chance to put our mark on this program, and I think that I need some butts in the seats, man. At the end of the day, home court advantage is not home court advantage if there's nobody home.
Right.
So we need to make it happen, you know, and that's going to be a part of my expectations. And I'll do whatever I need to do, go wherever I need to go, speak to whoever I need to speak to, you know, whatever it is, I'll make myself available. So. You know, with that being said, I think that kind of covers both my expectations and hopefully the fans' expectations as well.
That's Marvin Menzies. I hope you've enjoyed our introduction with him. I hope you're looking forward, as much as I am, to this November and the beginning of another great Runnin Rebel basketball season. Coach, appreciate the time.
Thank you. My pleasure.
We'll visit with you on the court as well later on. Thanks for watching. Thanks for visiting. And we'll see you in November.
Go Rebels.